Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel A to Z Nursing Notes. I'm Rupinder and today I will be discussing nursing management of Parkinson's disease. In my earlier video, I have talked about Parkinson's disease. If you have not watched that video, you can always go to the description box and see that video. Now most of the students, they struggle with the nursing management of the disease. On my channel, I will explain you the nursing management in an easy and memorable way, and plus you will get organized notes so that you can score better marks in your exams. So let's get started. For the nursing management of any disease, first of all we have to memorize the sign and symptoms of the disease. So the sign and symptoms of Parkinson's disease are tremors, rigidity, bradykinesia, hypokinesia, gait disturbances, postural instability, dysphonia, dysphagia, mask-like face, excessive uncontrolled sweating, orthostatic hypotension, gastric and urinary retention, constipation, sexual disturbances, psychiatric symptoms like depression, dementia, sleep disturbances and hallucinations. You can always keep this picture in your mind to remember the sign and symptoms of Parkinson's disease. So because earlier I've told you that Parkinson's disease, it is a motor disorder. So our first nursing diagnosis would be impaired physical mobility related to muscle rigidity and motor weakness. Now what all things can be done to improve the physical mobility? We can always make a progressive plan of daily exercises such as walking, riding a stationary bicycle, swimming, gardening, etc. All these activities, they will help to maintain the joint mobility. Next, we can plan with the physiotherapist the postural exercises to avoid stooping posture, because the person is stooping over, so we have to teach him to walk erect in a straight posture. Give warm baths and massages before exercises to relax muscles and relieve muscle spasms and rigidity. So if the muscle spasm and rigidity is relaxed, the person will be able to perform better in the exercises. Teach special walking techniques, that is concentrating on walking erect because the posture is stooped. To watch the horizon while walking. If the person will be watching the horizon, he will be actually standing erect, right? Use a wide-based gait, that is walking with feet separated. Now these patients with the Parkinson's disease, they have a short shuffling gait. So if we tell them to consciously walk in a wide-based gait, it will help to improve the gait. Conscious effort to swing the arms. Earlier I've told you that there is reduced swinging of the arms. So we have to make the person conscious that he has to swing his arms. Raise the feet while walking, because the person is having short shuffling gait, so there are more chances of having a fall because of its like abnormal gait, right? So we have to teach the patient to consciously raise his feet while walking. And what can he do? Heel to toe placement of the feet with a long stride. This will be helpful in avoiding short shuffling gait. Then teach to do deep breathing exercises while walking. Then frequent resting periods should be given in between the exercises to avoid fatigue, right? Coming to the next nursing diagnosis, self-care deficit related to tremors and motor disturbances. Now because the person Parkinson's disease, it is a motor disorder, so all the motor activities, they will be affected. So it will be like reduced, or because of tremors the person will not be able to do his activities of daily life. So what all can be done to improve the self-care? So we can encourage, support and teach the patient during the daily activities like feeding, dressing, hygiene and toileting. We have to encourage the patient that he can do it, and what all ways what all lifestyle changes can be done for that, right? So teach the use of adaptive or assistive devices. So we can always make use of the assistive devices so that they are helpful to the patient in his daily activities. Plus there are some adaptive devices like bed with the bedside rails, an overbed frame with the trapeze, so it will help the patient to like get up in the bed by himself, right? A rope tied to the foot of the bed will be helpful in pulling up without the help, right? Next is constipation related to medicines and reduced activity. Since the person will be having difficulty in movement, so he will be definitely having get constipated. So what else can be done to reduce constipation? That is, we can establish regular bowel movement routine by following regular time patterns. So a person has to consciously monitor his bowel movement and make sure that he goes to the washroom at regular intervals. Then consciously increasing fluid intake unless contraindicated. So because if the fluid intake will be there, it would be easy for the bowel it will be easy for the person to pass the bowel, and unless contraindicated. So if the person is having some kidney disease or some heart diseases where there is contraindicated to increase the fluid intake, in that cases we can avoid. Otherwise we tell the patient to consciously increase the fluid intake. Next, eat food with moderate amount of fiber content. Since fiber, it adds to the bulk of the stool, so we have to add fiber to the meals. Then a raised toilet seat is useful as patient has difficulty in moving from standing to sitting position. So always make the patient sit on a raised seat, as the patient there is the motor difficulties, so the patient will be having difficulty, so he will try to avoid these going to the washroom to avoid the discomfort. So if he is having a comfortable seat to pass the bowel, then he will be find it easy to pass the bowel movement. Next is laxatives can be used wisely. Keep a stool under the feet while defecation to help the person pass bowel. Then regular exercises should be encouraged as it improves the bowel movement. Now regular exercises already is a part of the management of a Parkinson's disease person, so it will be beneficial in increasing the mobility as well as in reducing the constipation. Coming to the next nursing diagnosis, imbalanced nutrition less than body requirement related to tremors, slowness in eating, difficulty in chewing and swallowing. Now if the person is having tremors, he will not be able to put the food into his mouth, right? Or he will be slow because all the chewing and all swallowing thing, it requires the movement of the muscles. Since he is already experiencing muscle rigidity and stiffness, so there will be the eating habit will be slow, and he might experience difficulty in chewing. That is why the intake would be less. So the nursing diagnosis is imbalanced nutrition less than the body requirement. Now what all can be done to improve the nutrition? Monitor the weight on weekly basis to ensure calorie intake is adequate. First of all, every time take a baseline data, that is at the starting of the management of the person, we will take a baseline weight so that we can compare while evaluating the nursing process, right? Then is nasogastric tube or percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy may be required in advanced stages. If the person is not able to take the food by himself, swallowing is affected or chewing is affected, then we can always go for the nasogastric tube insertion, and in some cases percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy may be required, right? And how can we enhance the swallowing process? Make the patient sit in upright position while eating, because this is a very comfortable position to eat the food. Instead, the person is lying in the bed and eating, which is very uncomfortable. Then give semi-solid diet with thick liquids that are easier to swallow. Thin liquids, because the patient is having swallowing is affected, so if we will give thin liquids to the person, there may be chances of aspiration. So to avoid that, always prefer to give semi-solid or thick liquid diet, right? And as it will be semi-solid, chewing will be easier and it will be easier in swallowing also. Teach the patient to consciously swallow, thinking about the swallowing sequence. So we have a lot of teaching work is required in the Parkinson's disease people, because they will have to make conscious efforts to do the movement, right? So we have to tell him, like, now you have kept the food on the tongue, now you have to close your lips and teeth, then you have to lift your tongue up and then back and swallow the food, right? So the person has to make it repetitively think about the swallowing sequence and then eat the food. This will ensure the movement as well as the proper swallowing, right? Next is encourage to chew on one side of the mouth first and then on the other side. Why is this so? So that the muscles on both the sides, they are being used, right? And if the person is tired on one side, he can always switch to the other side. Then is massaging facial and neck muscles before meals is quite beneficial. Also, we can use the make use of assistive devices like an electric warming tray is quite helpful. Like some people, they like to eat hot food. Now because they are taking so much of time chewing the food, so they may just stop because the food is cold by the time they are eating. So an electric warming tray helps to keep the food hot and allow the patient to rest during prolonged eating times. So the person can always, like if he feels tired, can stop for a while, take rest, and then again start eating. Also, we can make use of special utensils to assist at the meal times, like a stabilized plate we can be used, a non-spill cup, and using utensils with the specially built handles, so that because of their tremors or mobility restriction, we can always use specially designed utensils. Impaired verbal communication related to decreased speech volume, slowness of speech, inability to move facial muscles. Now already talked about this in the sign and symptoms, that the person will be experiencing dysphonia or speech disturbances. So what all can be done to improve the verbal communication? Improve communication by reminding the patient to face the listener. So if the person is facing the listener, his voice would be more audible to the listener. Teach the patient to exaggerate the pronunciation of the words. Speak in short sentences instead of speaking very long sentences, which will be tiring for that person. Always prefer to speak in short sentences. Next is taking few deep breaths before speaking. It would be quite helpful. Then a speech therapist is helpful in designing speech improving exercises. The speech therapists are very helpful in these patients as they teach them the speech improvement exercises which improve their verbal communication. A small electronic amplifier is helpful if the patient has difficulty in being heard. So a mic can be used to make the person's voice audible to the listener, right? Ineffective coping related to depression and dysfunction due to disease progression. Now Parkinson's disease, it is a progressive disease and it is a degenerative disease, that is the dysfunction, it continues with time. So what all can be done to cope with the disease? Support coping abilities of the patient by assisting the patient and encouraging them to set achievable goals. That is, we should always set the goals which are achievable, so that once the goal is achieved, the person is encouraged to move a step forward towards his other goal, right? A combination of psychotherapy, physiotherapy, medication therapy, and support group is helpful to reduce the depression. As a person is lacking in his mobility, in his speech, so there would the person may land up in depression. So we should always, it's not that the medication therapy will be helpful, it is not that the physiotherapy will be helpful, it is always a comprehensive care. So we have to take into account the psychotherapy, the physiotherapy, medication therapy, the support group, everything. Make a program of activities to be performed throughout the day to prevent daytime sleep, right? So we have to always make a plan of what all should be done and how it should be done throughout the day, so that the person doesn't sleep in the day, right? Encourage patient to carry out tasks involved in meeting daily needs and remain independent. If the person loses his functional ability, he will definitely land up into depression. So we have to encourage the patient to do his daily activities of daily life as much by himself as he can do. What all can be done in the home care? Now the persons with the Parkinson's disease, they are usually not treated in the hospitals. They are they are treated on the as outpatients, right? Until and unless they are quite severe or in advanced stages. So what all care must be taken to avoid information overloading? That is, we have to explain the patient and his family members what the disease is and what are its long-term effects, so that they are not apprehensive or they are not shocked by the disease progression, right? Teach about the medication regimen they are getting, their adverse effects, precautions to be taken. It is and let them know that it is very important to report the side effects of the medication to the physician. So if they are experiencing any side effect due to the medicine, they may require a change in the medication regimen. Discuss about the risk of injury and talk about the prevention of falls, implementation of the adaptive measures, right? Next is describe the nutritional needs that the patient is already having will be having decreased intake, so they have to like make changes in his diet, and because to prevent the constipation the diet has to be modified, and the dysphagia management, that is he is having difficulty in eating the food, so we have to change the like or tell the patient to consciously make the eating effort. Then ways to prevent aspiration, that is by giving them thick liquids and semi-solid food instead of thin liquids. Managing constipation by increasing fluid intake, by making a bowel routine, right? Then manage urinary problems, that is functional incontinence, retention, etc. For that which the Foley's catheter may be inserted, and then Foley's care has to be taught to the family members. Then suprapubic catheter care if used, right? Explain the effects of immobility, and then teach them the preventive care for skin breakdown, that is like if the patient is like bedridden or is spending more time on the bed, may have pressure ulcers, so we have to teach the family members the frequent that about frequent turning of the patient, then pressure releasing measures and skin care. And in case the another complication of Parkinson's disease is pneumonia, because of the decreased activity, the patient may be spending most of his time on bed, so we have to teach the person deep breathing exercises and encourage him to ambulate. And contractures may develop because of the decreased mobility, and if the person himself doesn't do conscious effort to do the movements, then contractures may develop. So for that we have to teach the family and the patient about the range of motion exercises. Explain benefits of the daily regimen, and then teach the speech exercises, communication techniques and breathing exercises. Also we have to tell to the patient and the family about the walking and the balancing, how to like walk and balance the himself safely. Then identify resource groups like Parkinson's Disease and Movement Disorder Society is there. Then Parkinson's Disease Society of Karnataka is there in India. The Basal Ganglia Support Group is there. International Essential Tremors Foundation is there. Then Essential Tremor Support Group is there. So there are a lot of help groups that are present all over the world. So we have to like encourage the patient to join these groups, so that the patient can ventilate and learn from the other people's experiences, right? And that's all for today. Thank you very much.